Hello and welcome to the Madniverse. Today we're going to further explore Hive Swap Friend Sim. Volume 7 is out and now we get to move on to 2 new friends. Very interesting. I saw a little bit about these ones already, and one of them apparently, the one on the left, has apparently one like blank eye and one eye with an X, which is pretty interesting, and the other very brutish looking, so that's going to be interesting to find out. So Volume 7 of Business, Flagrantly Illegal. Whatever that means. Ever since you were a kid back on Earth, you have always held the deep, close wish to one day travel the world. You wanted to see new places, experience exciting new tastes and altitudes and temperatures, maybe go scuba diving. It's not a bad thing. I've never been scuba diving either. It seems kind of fun. I mean, you get to see fishes deep underwater. Sounds pretty cool, but you never imagined you would actually get the chance. What kind of cool stuff didn't happen to someone like you? Well, you're finally getting your wish. It's just a totally different world. Funny how life turns out. When you get back to Earth, well, you don't want to think about that. Who knows if it will ever even happen? You have recently chilled out, found your place in the universe, drifting from friend to friend, adventure to adventure. It's the only way to live. I kind of like that too, though. I do like adventures. The whole thing about, going from an adventure to an adventure, adventures are pretty awesome. You never know what's going to happen in an adventure. Adventures are always random. You might think what happens, but then something else happens. But then adventures are usually exciting. I mean, from what you see in like movies, TV shows, games, adventures can be all emotions. Exciting, dangerous, you might be life-threatening, of course, but they're always fun, though. So, anyways, let's see. So we have Ramil Namak, I guess, and then Konyol, oh jeez, that's gonna be fun. Konyol, I have no idea how to say that one. Okima. So we'll get to her before, next time, but let's go with Ramil first. You wandered into a part of town that seems to have some culture going on. There are a lot of bright neon lights, and you can't read what the signs say, but you can see arcades, a performance space, and what looks like a movie theater, perhaps more indie-oriented compared to the mall cinemas you've seen before. As you continue wandering, you come across a trendy-looking building with a placard outside that shows a little cartoon doodle of a fancy waiter holding out trays of snacks. You can't recognize what the words say, but you recognize the intergalactic signal for free food inside. Come on in. I mean, he's probably hungry since he hasn't eaten in forever. Some very interesting paintings. Definitely looks like a Mona Lisa with some very interesting horns and goth makeup, I guess. Very interesting. And then I'm not exactly sure what the farmer painting is called, but that's there too. So, pretty interesting things that they took to put into this art gallery. You head inside and it appears to be an art gallery. It must be opening night tonight, because there are festive decorations up and a little table offering drinks and hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres. I have no idea how to say that. I'm just butchering the crap out of that, so we're just gonna move on. There are many other art appreciators here, and your adrenaline spikes when you realize that most of the trolls milling around are purple bloods. You're not sure if some paintings and snacks are worth the high chance of being maimed when chaotic violence breaks out, but as you're debating the merits of free food versus probable injury, someone approaches you. Hey, Ramil. You don't look like my other patrons. Are you lost? Or are you perhaps looking to start collecting? If you're loaded, ignore that first question. Art is for everyone, after all, regardless of your blood color. Not exactly sure what's up with all the unnecessary E's on the end of some of these words. Very interesting. The 4 black pupils in her eyes glint and sparkle, and you're not sure if it's a menacing or friendly sparkle. She grins at you and it shows all her teeth. So what do you think of the art? Have any paintings caught your eye? You look around. You don't know much about art, but you are a nerd. Not sure what that has to do with much of anything. And a lot of paintings in here remind you of the scenes from popular movies and games back home. The art is stunning, perhaps the best I've ever seen. Cho Mona Lisa who? It seems kind of derivative. Let's go with the first one. Stop, you flatterer. She puts a hand on her hip and winks at you, and you're guessing her here that it doesn't actually mean she wants you to stop. You're also making the connection that she must be the artist who painted all of these. You sense an opportunity for friendship, so you lay it on thick and gush out about how talented she is. Huh? I thought you looked like a dumbass when you walked in. That's hurtful. But you have good taste after all. I mean, I may look interesting and different from everybody else, but that doesn't mean I look like a dumbass. Does it? Maybe. I'm pretty injured, I think, so... Let me show you around. You follow Ramil through the gallery, swinging by the table with the free food first. It's probably a good idea. You're probably still very hungry. It's pretty good by the standards you've come to expect on Alternia, but what you thought was wine at first glance is actually Faygo. No thanks. I'm not sure what Faygo is, though. He might have had it before, which is why he says no thanks. I don't really remember Faygo. I have no idea. You may have noticed that some themes in my exhibited work. I don't love clowns or gore as much as it may seem. That's just what I have to sell here. If you look at my work online, you'll see more full range of my art. But this fancy gallery shit, Purple Bloods are some of my best customers. Those clown fucking love art. They're rich as fuck, and they'll buy anything as long as it's violent enough or features religious themes. You've seen the kind of destructive and mayhem that Purple Bloods are capable of, so you're surprised that she doesn't seem to mind being in a crowded gallery with so many of them. Most other trolls you've interacted with have done their best to steer clear of the clown murder cult guys, at least when one of those hate-romance relationships isn't on the table. Isn't it kind of dangerous to actively court them for her audience? Oh sure. They can be unpredictable, and keeping them happy requires some smoozing. Occasionally, I have to pretend like I've drunk the Faygo and pull some religious references out of my ass. But it's nothing I can't handle. You can make a lot of money as an artiste if you're not choosy about what you draw. Yeah, but aren't you supposed to draw what you want though? I mean, isn't that most of the part of being an artiste? You put yourself into the paintings, not just draw whatever. One of my customers is the blue blood moron who only ever commissions me to draw low bloods in quadrants with other low bloods. I've got him convinced I'm giving him a deal on his rate when he's actually paying 5 times what I charge anyone else. My point is, artistic integrity is for chumps. If you want to get ahead in this world, give the people what they want first. That strikes you as depressing outlook on the creative process, but you're aware by now that the idealism on Alternia tends to lead to shorter lifespans. And you have to admit, looking around at the crowd in this gallery, that her cynical approach seems to be working. You tell her that she sounds pretty business savvy in addition to talented, but she winks at you again. And she winks, not but. Thanks, I know. Because I make bank doing shit like this, I'm able to fund my passion projects. You should really check out my webcomic. But before you can find out what her webcomic is about, I'm sure she already knows, she notices another troll that has been sidling up to you. As she approaches, she whips out what looks like a small recording device with a smile. Ramil's face goes carefully blank, and she crosses her arms over her chest. And how can I help you? Ah, yes. Hello there, Miss Namak. I'm with Alternia Nightly, and I must say, it looks like your first ever gallery exhibit has been a smashing success so far. The journalist's syrupy tone and innocuous words don't seem threatening to you, but you're picking up on some tense vibes from Ramil, whose hair ribbon swings forward in front of her face aggressively. Of course it's a success. I never expected otherwise. Maybe not. But some in the art world have expressed surprise at the timing of this. Some have called it bold, considering that you're currently in the middle of plagiarism controversy. Would you care to comment on the case against you by Trident Media? Instead of being caught off guard by the question sprung on her, Ramil relaxes and laughs. Oh, that. Pfft. As if they have any kind of real evidence that I'm violating their precious intellectual property. All the characters I draw and profit from are entirely original, and Trident Media and their legislator, I don't really like that word, are just mad about it because the whole internet knows that my storylines are better than the source material. Oops. I mean, better than the unrelated creative works that my comics happen to bear a superficial resemblance to. Feel free to quote me on that. The reporter takes the quote and scuttles away. Ramil seems unbothered, but you can't help but feel concerned for her. Copyright infringement is serious business. Is this your new friend in hot legal water? I totally butchered that. Not hot legal water, but legal hot water, but close enough, I suppose. Nah, Alternia barely has any copyright protections to speak of. It's just that little pest Gorgek trying to stir up shit as usual. The company behind his lawsuit wouldn't even care if he hadn't gotten involved. It's no big deal, nothing I can't handle. You go back to following her around the gallery, keeping your distance whenever a purple blood comes up to compliment her on her work. Don't want to get smashed, I guess. I guess that's a good point. Apparently purple bloods are very crazy. Yeah. You can tell that despite her confident attitude, spitting everywhere again. This always seems to happen when I do Hive Swap too. Too much spitting. Ramil is still thinking about that journalist. She taps her foot and frowns at the paintings whenever there's a lull in conversation. Thorin glances at the door that the journalist left through. You know, it's not like Alternia has a free press or credible newspapers. That reporter was probably hired by someone with a grudge to dig up dirt on me. I don't think it was Gorgek, actually. Too obvious. Amateurish. No, this stinks on my competition. The artistic establishment that thinks all I do is fan art and shouldn't be taken seriously as an artist. All the paintings are in the museum across the street, and they hate that I've managed to put up my own exhibit. Those stuck-up pretentious bold scrubs have been trying to sabotage me for so long. She turns to you, her hands balled up into fists and the X in her eye flashing with passion. I've been waiting for the opportunity to strike back at them. If everyone is gonna accuse me of being a thief and a hack anyway, I might as well steal from them for real. But their security is tight, and I haven't had an accomplice. Until now. What do you say? Want to help me pull off a risky art heist? Yes. Fuck yes. Hell fucking yes. Doesn't matter, but I'm gonna go with that one. Ramil does one last round in her exhibit, saying goodbye to her patrons and grabbing her bag, which seems to be mostly art supplies, as you head out the door and onto the street. The museum that she wants to rob is at the end of the block, in a much bigger, fancier building than the one you just walked out of. All the lights are off inside, and it doesn't have any signs of advertising current exhibits. We could do this one of two ways. Follow that journalist and steal the keys if she has them, or break in without them. Steal the keys or bust down the door. I'm gonna go with steal the keys first. We'll see how well that one works out. You would much rather walk through an unlocked door than try to bust it down, and the reporter is still in sight, turning a corner down the street. You try to You try to imitate Ramil's casual yet confident way of walking, like she can blend in anywhere and pull off anything. But despite your efforts to try not to attract suspicion, you keep getting looks. Not being the same species as everyone around you tends to make you stand out. Kinda. Shit, this could be a problem. I could put together a disguise for you. Hang on. You watch as she starts pulling things from her bag. She seems to have all sorts of things in there, from paintbrushes to blobs of clay and to paint. And you think she might be putting together some fake horns for you from scratch real quick. But before she can finish, you realize that one of the purple bloods about to walk into Ramil's gallery is staring at you. He looks vaguely familiar, and you realize a little too late where you've met before when he starts walking towards you. You! I remember you! You broke into my apartment! It's the same troll that you and Polypa escaped from. You back away as he advances, a lazy grin on his face. Ramil glances from him to you, and back to him again. Well, Fook. Looks like I'm not gonna have an accomplice after all. Sorry, pal. Ramil, come back. Don't leave me. Oh, man. Last time I remember this guy, he threw Polypa against the wall and shit. I mean, he's pretty tough. And she just left me all by myself. She hoists her bag over her shoulder and shrugs her hands in a "what can you do" gesture. Then she's gone, the big purple blood paying her no mind as she absconds. You want to feel betrayed, but it's hard to blame her considering how scary this guy is. In your heart, you know that you're dead already, but you're not going to accept your fate without attempting to prevent it. You make a mad dash to escape, sprinting towards a skinny alleyway and thinking that maybe you can scamper up a fire escape or something. Unfortunately, your attacker's size doesn't seem to slow him down, and you can hear his heavy footfalls right behind you. He laughs, and it somehow sounds dopey and dumb and completely terrifying at the same time. You make it to the alley, but you fucked up, because it's a dead end and you don't see anything you could use to clamber to high enough ground. You turn your face to him, hopelessness sinking down to your toes. Your scrappy alien tenure on this hazardous new planet is about to come to a messy end. The purple blood swings his massive club lazily in one hand as he approaches you, not bothering to run anymore. You drop into a fighting crouch, trying to think back to your 3rd grade karate lessons for any moves that might be useful. But before you can crush your skull in, you see a flash of movement behind him. Polypa, just come back. Polypa? Wrong person. Ramil, sorry. Just had Polypa on the mind, I guess, from reading that. He staggers, dropping the club as as something hits him from behind. Hey, Ramil. As much as I appreciate inspiring my fans, I'm gonna have to ask you not to interpret my art so literally, as in, no murdering. Ramil springs off the troll's back after clawing him and rolls to the side, avoiding his swinging fist. She grabs for his club, which is almost as long as she is tall, but before she can use it, his next blow catches. I don't know. Just totally read that wrong. But before she can use it, his next blow catches her below the ribcage, sending her flying across the alley into the brick wall. She's on her feet again fast, but you could tell that she's injured, and now she doesn't have the element of surprise on her side. The purple blood turns his back on you as he closes in on Ramil, laughing again. You can't let him kill her, not when she came back for you, but you have no idea how you can help her. Your eyes land on Ramil's bag, tossed to the side in the melee. In a desperation, you grab a loose paintbrush that rolled out of it. You dive forward with a battle cry. Ah! I mean, you're pretty injured, so that's what I would think a battle cry would be. Something doopy like that. And stab the end of the paintbrush deep into his high blood's calf. Violet blood squirts you in the face. He yells and you manage to roll away just in time to avoid getting smacked. The slight stab wound hasn't slowed him down much, but it's given Ramil a chance to dive out of his range. And while he's trying to grab you, while he's still trying to grab you, she gets a hold of his club again. It's a really big club. Don't like the spikes on the end. That probably should have killed her, but she seems fine. Somehow, I don't know how. She's stronger than she looks, strong enough to get a good wind up with that thing. And when he turns toward her, she brings it down hard onto his skull. Ramil, slow, okay, I think he's dead. She smashed him in like 4 times. It's like, Jesus, I think he's dead. It takes a few more good smacks before the troll finally stops groaning and twitching. Ramil breathes heavily, wiping blood splatter off her forehead. She looks up, meeting your eyes. You are absolutely positive this is the most dramatic way you have ever been rescued. You can't believe she came back and risked her life for you. Yeah, don't mention it. I needed an accomplice, right? She drops the club and staggers over to you, pausing to spit out cerulean blood. You remember that she took some damage and hurry to support her, offering her your weak human arm to lean on. Is she going to be okay? I'll be fine. Ceruleans are tough to cull, even for a wannabe subjugator. subjugulator, I guess. She tilts her head, looking down at the way her blood swirls with the larger quantities of purple blood pooling on the asphalt. Huh. That's actually not bad as an artistic medium. The colors and textures work well together. Maybe that blue blood kid from Chitter is onto something. Anyway, thanks for having my back with that paintbrush. Took some quick thinking. We may be an okay team. I've never killed anyone before, but that kind of ruled, didn't it? You're not sure that you would choose those exact words, but you're pretty relieved right now. You might not have the bloodthirsty glint in your eyes that Ramil does, but maybe you can interpret your adrenaline shakes as euphoric overload, or something. You might not have the bloodthirsty glint... I didn't press the button. I was gonna read that whole thing again. Hell yeah, me too. I can see why people get into this killing business. If I wasn't such a great artiste, I'd consider switching careers. But sometimes when you're good at too many things, you have to pick one and stick to it. So no professional assassinations for me. I'm still determined to rob the shit out of my competitors though. And you, now that we've killed someone together, it just makes sense for us to stay partners in crime, right? Your heart leaps at the implication that she wants to stick together. You truly do not mind breaking every law in the books if it means she'll be your friend. Nice. We'll probably don't need to go around breaking every law. I just want to steal some art. But maybe we can reschedule the heist for another day. This neighborhood will be crawling with drones as soon as they realize a Highblood was killed. You feel bad that this troll attempting to slaughter you ruined Ramil's gallery opening. Oh, are you kidding? My customer base loves this kind of shit. My art will get even more of a violent reputation when word gets out that someone died at my first gallery show. That's metal as fuck. You limp out of the alley, supporting Ramil with your arm around her waist, and she directs you to the back entrance of her gallery where the two of you can clean off the blood and hide until the drones and the crowds are gone. Better. There we go. If you don't mind, you can lie low at my place for a few days while we plan this heist. And I might as well get some work done while we wait and scheme. That fight was pretty inspiring. You're already my accomplice, so how would you feel about also being my muse? It's a very interesting stare she's got going on. A little too close. You might want to, back off a little bit. But as someone was before on the first volume, she was also an artist, and I was kind of her muse in that regard too. So she's kind of the same way as her, but that's okay. A different way of going about the story, actually killing somebody. But now we move on to the next part, because now we gotta go back and revisit all the other options. Back to Ramil. Skip forward. Seems kind of derivative. You clearly know nothing about art, plebe. If you don't like it, there's the door. Make room for someone with money to burn and better taste. That's quick, though. And you're already gone. Go away. Get out. You don't know nothing about art. And I get pushed away by her with a broom. That sucks. Somehow he seems to go from, injured state to healing state, though. Because, he's been injured a lot. So I'm surprised he can even stand right now. It's very interesting, but... he seems to be handling it okay. Alright, skip. Okay. Bust down the door. A heist sounds risky enough without spending extra time trying to pickpocket some keys. You suggest that if this crime is going to happen tonight, it should happen now. No time like the present. Good point. Let's go break into the museum. You scoot casually across the street to the museum on the corner. After seeing the kind of looks your unusual appearance draws from passerby, Ramil takes some fabric from her bag and wraps it around your head. There. Now people will probably just assume that you have horns. You're just embarrassed by them being tiny or malformed. I've seen pretty tiny horns though, and malformed horns. She's kind of got something going on. It's pretty cool though. I like the horns that she's got. Very interesting looking. But I wouldn't be ashamed of it. That's who you are. But I guess it does help you from getting all the stares, so... Duck into that alcove shielding the museum's back door and wait for me. I'm gonna circle the block first, just so we seem less suspicious. Okay, bye. As you wait for a meal by the door, the reality of this caper settles in. You've been excited about the heist at first, because who wouldn't be excited by the opportunity to sneak around, steal some art, and stick it to the man, probably while a snazzy soundtrack played. I mean, it's not bad, it's not snazzy, but it's not bad. But this is pretty much the music you're gonna get, because it never changes. Once it starts, it's the only one that goes. It's snazzy enough, I suppose. But now you realize that in heist movies, they always have blueprints for the place you're gonna rob, and you have no blueprints. It seems like a dire sign. Oh, hey, you're back. Before you can get too swept up in your worries, Ramil returns. Does she have any idea how to get into this place? Because the door seems pretty unbust-downable to you. Yeah, I've got some tricks up my sleeve. I've never done this before, but it'll probably work. She roots through her bag until she comes out with several paintbrushes of varying size. Then she crouches down and uses the skinniest one as a lockpick. It doesn't work, but then she selects a different paintbrush for with different bristles and uses some of the bristles bunched together, and the lock clicks open. Ha! I'm great at this, but I could be an incredible thief if I decided to do that instead of art. Do you ever take the time to just sit back and acknowledge how great you are at everything you try to do, and how much you trust yourself to never fook up when it counts? Not exactly. No, I don't ever really do that. It sounds interesting, though. Time to reflect on yourself, I suppose. It's a very interesting question. You hope that the question is rhetorical, because your honest answer is that no, you don't have a whole lot of experience acknowledging how great you are at everything you attempt. Your mental acknowledgements lately have mostly been the opposite of that. Maybe it wasn't rhetorical, because Ramil stays crouched down for that second, looking at you like she wants an answer. Well, I guess no. When you eventually come up with an awkward shrug, she stands up and puts away her makeshift lockpick, dusting off her hands and opening the door. I guess not everyone can be at my confidence level. Anyway, let's go. Lasers everywhere. This is gonna be fun. You follow her inside. Much to your delight, you see that this museum has an infrared laser alarm system. It looks so cool, just like in the movies, and you're back to being excited. Ramil seems into it too, bouncing at the balls of her feet next to you. Interesting. Very interesting. One of us is going to have to get through these beams to disable the alarm. The box to do it is across the room there, see? But these lasers are so close together. You can see the issue. Ramil isn't that tall for a troll, but she might be too tall to maneuver through these beams. Even if she bends over, it's going to be tricky for her to squirm through them all without losing her balance and tripping the alarm. But the trolls that designed this alarm system didn't have your hornless ass in mind when they thought of potential intruders. Thank you for that. But I mean, if you had tiny horns, maybe that would have helped too. She's got some pretty big horns. So maybe, yeah, this probably wouldn't work for her. You stoop over a bit to see if you'll fit, and sure enough, yes! You should be able to shimmy your way through these beams with minimal contortion. Fook yeah! I knew I was right to bring an accomplice. Great thinking, me. And great heist skills, you, if you pull this off. You recall what she said about confidence and trusting yourself not to fuck things up, and assure her that you've got this. Got this. Not a problem. Maybe. We'll see. You face the laser beams with your self-doubt shoved all the way down, where it hopefully won't screw anything up for you. You take a deep breath and crouch down carefully. So carefully, inch your way forward between the wires. It's the slowest you've ever crossed a room in your life, and there are a couple of moments when you teeter and almost lose your balance. You can hear Ramil hissing through her teeth behind you at tense moments. But you press on without looking back. And then you've done it! You've reached the box to disable the alarm, and you have no idea how you're going to do that. All the buttons are labeled in an alien alphabet. Crap. Oh, that's right. I forgot you can't read. Press the one that looks like a meat hook but with angry eyes. And then press the one that looks like a meat hook but it's got Purbe's claws. That should do it. That sounds bonkers to you, but you look back at the buttons, and her descriptions of the letters were actually pretty spot on. Yay! Good job! Woo! Hello? Oh man. You press the angry eyes and the cat claws, and the whole alarm system makes a soft shuddering noise and clicks and shuts off. You are thrilled! You did it! Who knew that doing something right could give you such a rush? This is just like the part of the heights where the heroes had to sweat for a moment, but then defeated the unforeseen wrench in their plan. You are certain that there couldn't possibly be any larger wrenches in your plan still to come. Recall. Ramil crosses the room to join you, giving you an appraising look with her hands on her hips. Not bad. Thanks for coming through for me like that. Now let's get what we came here for. There's one work in particular that I'm here to get. You follow her through the different galleries, passing through sculpture rooms and oil paintings until you reach a display of pieces that look inspired by pop culture. The paintings and prints in her and here remind you a lot of Ramil's exhibit, and when you look at her you can see that she's rigid, her eyes flashing and a passionate blue tint in her cheeks. I can't believe they call me the hack. Such bullshit. Whatever, it's cool. It doesn't actually bother me, I just need to send the message that they don't want to fook with me. This painting right here is a direct ripoff of one of my early works, back when I was naive enough to put my art up for free, without realizing it would just get copied and someone else would get all the credit and the profit. Well, I learned my lesson. I'll take this so they can't sell it, rip off their ripoff, make something even better and turn it out for a truckload of cash. The big one in the back, I guess. Very interesting what it looked like. It just looked like a face with like a moth or a butterfly in its mouth. Very interesting, but I guess that's the one she wanted. She grabs the painting, and just when the two of you are ready to roll out of here, you hear voices at the back door, and what sounds like a team of security guards coming in. Oh boy. They must have arrived to investigate the alarm system shutting off. You're ready to embrace your panic, but you stop hyperventilating when you feel Ramil's vice-like clawed grip on your arm. Don't freak out. Follow my lead, and we can still get out of this. You assume that the whole heist is off now that the security has shown up. But to your surprise, Ramil doesn't put the stolen painting back on the wall. She gives your arm one last reassuring squeeze before sauntering out of the room with her head held high, moseying with no hurry towards the front door. You follow her nonchalant lead as best you can. Man, she's got a lot of confidence. Way too much confidence, it seems. When one of the security guards stops her, Ramil gives a condescending, slightly confused look. What are you even doing here? My assistant told me that she informed all staff that I would be swinging by today to pick this up. Did you miss that memo? Give me a break. I'm sure it must be easy to miss things, right? Because as a security guard, you probably get so much important correspondence every day. Her four pupils somehow give her sneering eye roll extra sarcastic force. She yawns and with her free hand not holding the painting, flicks some non-existent dirt off her shirt. Okay. The security troll, a burgundy blood judging from the sign on his cop hat, looks uncertain and embarrassed. But I get it. I understand crossed wires. Since you're apparently too busy to do your job right, I'll get you up to speed. I'm the artist behind this piece, and I got a wealthy patron interested in commissioning something similar. I'm taking this as a reference in order to negotiate a better deal. There's absolutely no way these guys will buy her story. The two of you look so guilty, and you still have her yellow sash wrapped around your head, probably looking like an idiot with a head injury. No, it's just to hide horns, that's what it was. When did it become a head injury and looking like an idiot? That's a bit hurtful. But Ramil is staring down this guard like it hasn't even occurred to her that she might be questioned. You've never seen someone double down so hard on a story that is such transparent bullshit. If you want to waste more of my time and yours by calling your superior to verify, go ahead. He might not be thrilled that this mix-up happened because you can't keep up with your emails though. The security troll was already wavering, and at the mention of his emails, he cringes. His co-workers behind him shuffle around muttering to each other. He steps back, horns lowered in embarrassment, and waves you and Ramil through with a mumbled apology. You can't believe this is happening, but the two of you swagger out to the street through the front door, legitimate as anything. That's interesting that works, but I guess if you have so much confidence in yourself, I guess you could pull off even the most bullshittiest of stories. Very interesting. You don't stop until you've turned the corner to the next block, and then Ramil leans against a wall and laughs, holding her painting happily to her chest. Suckers. Feels good to get away with things, doesn't it? It does feel good, you suppose. Mostly you think you're still reeling. How did she come up with such a story like that on the fly? How did she guess correctly that the security guard wasn't some hyper-organized Inbox Zero kind of guy who'd never believed that she could have missed a message? Well, I'm not a Inbox Zero kind of guy. I have like a crap load of messages in my inbox. I really do need to delete a lot of them, but I don't miss a message usually, so it's not that hard. I mean, new stuff comes in, at the top, so you won't miss it. But whatever. Ramil gives you an odd look and reaches forward to unwind her sash from your head and stuff it into her bag. I just winged it, man. You overthink things. My guesses are usually right because I'm a creative genius. But if you're going after him for emails hadn't worked, meh. I guess we've been arrested, and then I talked my way out of that eventually too. Wow. You find it hard to believe that she goes through life so easily, with that kind of unshakable belief that she can improvise through anything. Doesn't she worry that it'll catch up with her someday? You want the long answer? It's this. Nope, I sure don't. That's definitely a long answer. And if you still don't get it, I don't know if it's kind of thing you can really learn. She picks up the painting again, looking down the street and away from you. Well, that was a successful heist. Now that I've ruined the competition, I feel inspired. I'm gonna take this home and paint. Wait, hang on. With a sinking feeling, you realize that she's getting ready to depart and that the friendship might be slipping through your fingers. Sorry, kid. You may seem like you're not totally useless, at least, but I'm not the one for long-term artistic collaboration. It's a lot easier to talk your way out of tight spots when you're on your own. Peace. Ramil, come back. Well, I already got the victory ending, so I guess that's not a surprise. You watch her go, your shoulders sagging with disappointment. You guys stole from a museum together, escaped together, bamboozled the cops together. You should have bonded over your shared transgressions and culpability. Every crime movie you've seen has taught you that heists bring people closer together, but cultural differences? Possibly, but yeah, she just kind of walks away with you having question marks over your head. It's terrible, but I guess that is the way things happen. But don't ever steal. It's terrible. Don't do that. It's a bad thing, but it's funny to see. You do see a lot of movies where, heists always do have something kind of go wrong, but then it all turns out in the end, which it kind of happened here as well. But the whole thing is it kind of got, messed up in the end. Where he didn't get the friendship he wanted. But that's just how things go. You can't have them all, but since I already had the victory ending, I knew it was all gonna, go downhill from there anyways. But what can you do? So we'll go see about our next person next time, the big, bulky, really buffed out woman, and we'll see what she has to say and what we do with her. Could be very interesting. She's got like some Wolverine claws going on, so I hope I don't get killed. You never know. Stuff might happen. But we'll see. So thank you for joining me for this adventure. I'll see you guys for the next adventure. Bye.